Do you need help growing your business? Take the challenge. The Thrivetime Business Coach Program will beat any marketing firm's prices by 50%. Schedule your free consultation today at thrivetimeshow.com.
Oh, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, and we thank you so much for showing your support to this past workshop. Do you realize this past workshop, our capacity for our workshops? Luke Owens is here with the Hub Fitness in Broken Arrow. By the way, if you've never been to the Hub Fitness, if you live in Broken Arrow and you're wanting to get in the best shape of your life, you got to go check out the Hub Fitness in downtown Broken Arrow. And Luke, how much is the first month over there at the Hub Gym?
Your first month is only $1.
The first month is only $1. Now, you attended a workshop. When was the workshop that you attended last? Do you remember?
It's been almost a year now.
Okay, well, you probably do. You probably got to come out to one of them.
Oh, yes.
But when you came to the workshop, at the time, the floor plate could accommodate, if you can imagine, 48 people. This workshop we just had 162 people.
Oh, my goodness.
That's four times as many people. And what's happening is the Thrive Nation is realizing, hey, there's no upsell. Hey, my buddy's been using this program for 3 years. Hey, have you read the reviews? Hey, it's effective. It's 2 days. It's interactive. But I want to have you kind of explain to the Thrive Nation what the experience of the workshop was like from your experience. Because when you were at the workshop, we didn't have a band yet. We didn't have a band. We didn't have all the ice sculptures rolling. We didn't have the exotic cars out front. Now we have kind of like a little car show out there. There's a lot of things we have now that we didn't have. But when you came to the workshop, what was it like? Can you explain maybe the transformation that occurred or how it might have helped you?
Right. So when I came to the first conference, it was sort of like with the idea that this is going to be like any other business coaching thing that you see.
And what are those typically like? You've heard of or
high
seen?
sales.
Yeah.
It's all about what the add-ons are.
I
They're
get
really
it,
not
yeah.
giving you any value.
They teach you like there's like 8 secrets to success, but they teach you one, and you get the other
Or
7. You have to
one.
sign up, or a half of one. Right? Okay, yeah.
Right. And with Thrive, that was totally opposite. From the very beginning, you get tangible advice. You start writing down step 1, step 2, and so on. And so by the time you're leaving the conference, you have some ammo in your belt, for sure.
Now, I think about the Hub in this time last year, and think about in terms of the actionable stuff. I think this past week, now I could be wrong, but I think you generated about 66 leads. Is that right? 64 leads or some 60 number, I think?
Yeah, as of last week. That's correct.
Was it 65? Do you remember the number?
63.
I hate to get it wrong. So 63 was the number of leads you got last week. And pretty much, I want to tell the Thrivers how we're doing it. Luke has thousands of customers he's provided service for over the years. And we really just needed to improve the online reputation, which we teach at the workshop. We needed to create a no-brainer. Can you explain to the Thrive Nation what that no-brainer is for you guys? Because it's a really sensational offer that everybody can learn more about.
Right. So it is literally your first month is $1.
And what's the catch?
There's no BS, no catch.
Now, what if I decide, okay, I do like it and I want to sign up for the Hub? What does it cost then?
It is only $29 a month.
So you see Thrive Nation, he already had a value proposition that makes sense. He already had been, how long have you been in the fitness business?
Almost 13 years now.
So what were some of the things that what are some things you're doing differently now than you were doing before a year ago?
Right. So it's all about systems. You cannot inspect something or expect something you don't inspect.
You can't inspect something that you can't inspect. You can't expect someone on your team to do something you're not going to inspect.
That's right.
Okay.
And so it was a very reactive atmosphere before. Now it's very proactive. You can look at the tracking forms that we have and know exactly where we're at or where we're not, and then how to respond to that.
So what's your biggest limiting factor right now? I mean, what do you look at and go, gosh, that right there, if I could just fix that? Because everybody listening to this show, everybody's a business owner. You need to know your biggest limiting factor. Being self-aware is probably the biggest thing we all need to work on. I mean, I used to get freaking nervous when I had speaking events. I used to think to myself, I don't know how I'm going to do this. There's like 40 people, and at the time they're all my employees. So it's kind of nervous when you view your own meeting as a speaking event.
Right.
But I got to a place where I had more employees than me. There's 40 of them and one of me, and I used to get nervous before my own team meetings because I'm like, oh no, they're going to be here and they're all going to argue with me. What do I do? I mean, but what's your biggest limiting factor as you're growing the business?
It would be similar to that, where we're getting used to these weekly interviews, weekly team meetings. The matter of consistency, I would say, is the thing that I'm learning is so valuable. It doesn't matter if one person or no people show up, you're there present every week as a matter of consistency.
Well, just to build the faith or to it's kind of like reverse motivational ideas for the Thrive Nation. We had last week over 70 people send an email to confirm they would be at the interview for one of our clients. 70. That's the 7 and the 0, 70. One more than 69. And guess how many showed up? Less than 10. And that's normal because that's America, which America, to a lot of people, and I love our country and I respect it, but for a lot of Americans right now, they translate, not our listeners, but other Americans, they translate the word America to mean jackassery. Now, our listeners don't, but other people do. So right now, the 7th step I want to teach to all the Thrivers. We were emailed a question. What are the 7 steps that I could use this year to improve my sales by 700%? The 7th step is you want to try to get 1,000 no's as possible. Like you're a rhinoplasty specialist. What does that mean? You're a guy who does plastic surgery on the nasal cavity. You help fix adjust somebody's nose who wants to get a nose job. That guy is trying to get 1,000 no's as soon as possible, and you have to get 1,000 no's as soon as possible. So Zig Ziglar, the best-selling author and the legendary motivational speaker, he once said, authors by the hundreds can tell you stories by the thousands of those rejection slips before they found a publisher who was willing to gamble on an unknown. What he's talking about is that most people have had massive, massive rejection. So just kind of build your faith in that idea. Think about Stephen King. So you know that Stephen King, his first book, Carrie, was rejected by everybody. The Dyson vacuum, it took him 15 years to get his first big deal. The Blendtec blender that's so popular now, it took forever to take off. I mean, think about Nike. Look up that story. The guy struggled for over a decade. You think about any big company. ESPN took over a decade to make a profit. Amazon took over 9 years to make a profit. Tesla took 10 years to make a profit. Elon Musk the other day landed rockets. Did you see those rockets land? Did you see that, Luke? Did you see those rockets?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Reusable rockets. What the crap? That's a rocket that takes off and comes back and is reusable. I mean, you talk about failure. If you're not willing to get 1,000 no's, then you're not going to be successful. So like Victoria's Secret, they relentlessly mail my wife every month. And I'm glad they do. I actually am glad that Victoria's Secret mails my wife every month. But they mail my wife every single month the catalog. And you know how often that we go in there? I don't know. I probably go in there for Christmas. And for her birthday. So that's 2 times, I guess. So Christmas and her birthday. I try to go in twice because I want to get myself a gift too. So it's usually 3 times a year I go into Victoria's Secret, but they mail me, I want to say like 12 times a year. But you don't see the Victoria's Secret mailing department crying and weeping and, oh my gosh, they're not like tearing their robes like some biblical character who's upset. They're not, Judas, I've been betrayed by my advertisers. No, they're consistent. These guys aren't worried about like the end times because they got 1,000 no's. They got to get 1,000 no's. In fact, they're only looking for like a 3% yes rate. But you've got to get to 1,000 no's as soon as possible. When we come back, I'm going to share with you my story of how I built DJConnection.com by getting 1,000 no's as soon as possible. Stay tuned.
3, 2, 1, boom! Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. Presenting the world's only business school without the BS. With optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark. Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show on Talk Radio 1170.
Yes, sir. It's Z and Clay, broadcasting from the box in the 918. Business school and the topic today. Check the syllabus, it's getting you paid. I'm making the business boom, it's what we do. You can do that, right, show. Welcome back to the conversation. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, and we're talking today about the 7 steps to help you increase your sales by 700% this year. If you're just now tuning in and you want to look at the steps and look at the facts and the notable quotables and all the show data, all the show notes, just go to thrivetimeshow.com and then click on the podcasts button. And every one of the shows is archived there. But we're going to get back to step number 7, our final step. And this step is you have to get to 1,000 no's as soon as possible. There's no way to avoid this. So I'm going to give you specific examples from my life of how I got 1,000 no's as soon as possible. And that way you guys can, as listeners, can ask yourself, is this applicable for you? The first thing I did with DJ Connection is I bought a Yellow Page as soon as possible. I bought a Yellow Page advertisement as soon as possible, but that was a different time when Yellow Pages were super relevant. But I didn't buy it soon enough. So for those first 3 years, I did cold calling exclusively. So I did cold calling exclusively. Now, I did have some warm calls because I did attend chamber events. I attended Chamber of Commerce events. And the problem with doing that for me was that very few people who attended the Chamber of Commerce events were going to get married. And so I did run into some corporate accounts there. But I would go to the chamber event. They would serve some kind of cheese cubes or some kind of a quiche or something, and there's some guy in a suit getting up there talking about the importance of networking or the importance of passing Vision 2025 or, something like that. And then I'm thinking to myself the entire time they're talking, like, how the crap am I going to pay the bills? Like, how the crap am I going to, it's Friday and I'm at this meeting and this chamber guy is talking about networking and the importance of Vision 2025. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I have $20.25 in my account, So I decided after a while, I'm networking with everybody. I was passing out cards and I did book some things. But what I decided to do is go ahead and get out the Chamber of Commerce book, the actual book they publish that has the names of all of the businesses. And this was my cold calling script. I'm going kind of ad lib, but I'm going to just give you what I did. And I committed to making 100 calls a day. And so my call went like this. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, thank you for calling Quick Trip. And I'd say, hi, I'm actually calling. I'm actually with the chamber. I'm a chamber member. And I wanted to see who handles your entertainment for the company. And they'd say, oh, that's, Kevin or whatever. And I'd say, okay, can I speak to Kevin? And they'd say, what's this call regarding? And I said, oh, well, we're actually offering a deal where you guys actually won. You're doing a drawing, and your company won the DJ entertainment for $1. So you guys get to have entertainment for your company party for $1. And they said, really? We won $1? Yeah. I said, well, we'll look into it. So I get on the phone with the decision makers, for these companies. And they'd say, what did we win now? And I'd say, you won your DJ service for any event you want for $1. It's just $1. And they said, well, what's the catch? I said, there's no catch. And they said, well, how do we win? I said, all the chamber members are entered into a competition, and there's a random drawing, and you guys were one of the winners. I didn't tell them that every business won, but they were one of the winners. And then they would say, well, so what's the catch? I said, well, I don't know about you, but I probably wouldn't use a new DJ company on like my big event. I probably wouldn't use a new DJ. We've only been around for a couple of years. I wouldn't use a new DJ company on a big company. You guys are a big deal. UPS, Quick Trip, Boeing. You guys are huge. And they go, yeah, we are huge. We are kind of huge. So I kind of appealed to that, a little bit. They said, so what's the catch? There's really no catch. I just want to set up a time to meet with you to go over the best date. I recommend like a retirement party or maybe a small office gathering, and I'll come there and put on a laser show. Now, obviously, if we do a good job, I'd love it if you'd consider us for your big event. But let's just start small. Maybe we're terrible. And they're like, okay, well, we meet, show up on time, dressed to impress, got newly shined shoes, got pants that fit, we're in a suit that works, got a tie on, got a briefcase there. And then I pitch what I do. I tell them about what we do. It's not more of a pitch. It's more of like a needs assessment. I say, so this year, the party you're thinking about, what date? Okay, great. How interactive do you want a DJ to be on a scale of 1 to 10? If a DJ is like a super, by the way, all personal trainers should do that. How much do you want me to push you on a scale of 1 to 10? Like if a 10 is like laser show and a 1 is like very calm, very TED Talksy, very mystical, very philosophical, very Buddha, very Zen, then you have to ask the customers. They said on a scale of 1 to 10, well, we want to make our party like a 10. I'm going, really? I said, now, what do you do? What time does the party start? They said 7. I said, okay, our standard is to always get there 2.5 hours before and to be fully set up 1 hour before. So can we get there at 4:30? Yeah, you can. Okay, great. So we get there at 4:30. The party starts at 7. Now, what kind of background music do you want to play when the guests are getting there? Because we want to set the right ambiance, the right atmosphere. And they tell us. And pretty soon we're having a conversation, which is the beginning of persuasion, by the way. A conversation is the beginning of persuasion. So then I said, so now as far as the packages go, they're all just $1, for you. But I'd recommend the middle package. We call it the True Romance package, but it includes the JBL speakers, includes the lights that create kind of a fun rhythm therapy atmosphere for the Caucasians in the group that probably can't clap on beat very well. And we DJ, it's unlimited time. So if you want to DJ till 2 a.m, we could probably do that. But how long do you think you'll be DJing? They said, till midnight. So the big event comes up, and my first big one to take the bait, to say yes, was the Bank of America. And Bank of America said yes at the Holiday Inn Select at I-44 and Yale. And the event coordinator, her name was Nanette. And Nanette, she organized the whole thing, and I just rocked that party. People showed up, and they're used to boring parties. And our event wasn't boring, though, because we had Name That Tune that they had approved. We had the Name That Tune game. We had kind of our version of Family Feud. We had a dance contest. We had a karaoke contest. We had all these fun events that they had previously approved. I pitched them like 100 ideas. They said yes to 2 or 3 of them. And so every hour we had 2 or 3 new big events that were happening. So the event went from ordinary to extraordinary. Well, at the end of the event, because they're not a bunch of jerks over there at Bank of America, that incredible bank that was founded by A.P. Giannini, and that was purchased for almost nothing by Warren Buffett, that incredible institution. A.P. Giannini, the high school dropout who started Bank of America, the guy who didn't have a college degree who started Bank of America. Just a little thought. The biggest bank in America was started by a guy who doesn't have a degree, but that probably doesn't matter. So the point is, so then I DJ'd the party, and they came up at the end of the event, and they said, hey, you know what? We really liked that today because you've got the sauce. I remember they said, you have the hot sauce. So what they did is they said, could you do our next event? And I said, well, yeah. And so that's how it starts. So you got to start, somewhere. So my thing was cold calling the Chamber of Commerce. I just went through the membership catalog, and I'd call every single business in the chamber and say, hey, guess what? I wanted to call you guys. They said, why are you calling? I said, because you guys were one of the winners. You guys won your holiday party for $1 or any party. And they said, well, we don't want to use you just for $1. And I'd say, well, I wouldn't use me either for $1. I wouldn't use a DJ just because you won it for $1. But what about a birthday party or a wedding or some kind of event? And almost every time they'd go, well, my husband's turning 40. Could you do that? And then once you go in there and you show up with your gear looking solid and you have a plan and you do a good job, people come back. They come back and bring friends. That's what happens. I mean, Dr. Z, how many times throughout your career has somebody come in for the $99 offer and then they came back a second time and a third time?
Quite a few times. I mean, you've got to have that no-brainer. You've got to have that thing that they just can't stand it. They got to call. They got to come in. They're curious. Sometimes you just leave enough out there that they just got to go, I got to know the rest of it.
Is it possible?
Is it? What does he mean by that? Surely he can't mean that.
What percentage of people just do the $99 deal and then never come back? And what percentage of people just do $99 and that's it? They just do the $99 deal and that's all they're in for.
Last time I checked, it was about 10% of the patients that came in, the cash-paying patients would do.
And we're not mad at you if you do that, right?
No, of course not. No. Yeah, absolutely. Come on in.
But people want to get the, the extra pair, backup pair. You got to get a backup pair.
A little fancier.
Kind of a sporty pair.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of a dinner pair.
Absolutely.
A studious pair, because you're a woman. You want to switch it up. You want to look smarter sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, how many pair of shoes do you own?
One.
No.
I call it the Swiss Army knife of shoes.
There you go. It's everything. They're fancy. They're just fancy enough to wear with the suit, yet I can go running in them.
It's like a transformer of shoes. It's whoop, and it changes up there. No. So get people in the door. The learning moment, the actionable moment is you got to just get to 1,000 no's as soon as possible. Now, it's exciting, Thrive Nation, is on tomorrow's show, we're doing an Ask Us Anything from Clay to Z and Z. We've got people wanting to know how to execute the Dream 100, how to find affordable rent. But I'll tell you this, Thrive Nation, if you want to find all the answers to all your business questions all the time, you got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. Because we have 4 ways to help you. We got the podcast, we got the in-person workshops.
Oh, wait a second. And the podcast is very reasonably priced.
It's $0.
It's free.
Yeah, if you round that up, it actually comes out to $0.
Like a freemium.
A freemium.
Yes.
Yes, nice. There. We also have the in-person workshops. We have the one-on-one business coaching. And we have a video archive, a video online school with thousands of videos. The first month is always just $1. And then $19 every month thereafter. Check it out. It's the Thrivetime Show. And as always, I want to end this show with a boom. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, and boom.